Good morning, everyone. For those of you who did not join us the last time, my name is Tracy Barnes, and I'm the Managing Director for Ascendancy I.M. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day today to join us for our third educational webinar. With me today are our presenters, Cassandra Bishop, whom most of you know already, and Eddie Hill, our Operations Director. We sincerely hope that you find this useful and leave us today with at least one new idea. And we thank you, and I now turn this over to Cassandra and Eddie.
Hi everyone, as Tracy said, my name is Cassandra, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to view our third webinar in this training series. Just in case you've missed the first or second training sessions, those are up on our website right now at ascendancyim.com/training-resources. We're also going to have the presentation that we're going to be sharing with you today on the handout section of this webinar, if you want to download and read along with us, or if you want to look at a further date. We'll also be putting a recording of this webinar up on the website as soon as it's done. So as Tracy said, we hope you get at least one good idea to take away from it, and let's get started. So for those of you who have viewed the first and second sessions, we've gone through this a couple times, but this really is the core foundation of everything that we do and what we try to strive for when helping you achieve your ideal online presence and building your authority. It's very, very important to us, and that's why when we were coming up with this training session, we had all of these goals in mind for ways that you could help us help you. So we are always trying to establish a professional, flattering, and engaging online presence. That way we can drive traffic to your website and generate more attention for you. We want to increase your online audience, reach, and engagement. That way we can share that localized brand personality that we cultivate together and strengthen those client-associate relationships. That way we can build trust on a local level to establish a positive online reputation, all to increase your website's ranking on search engine results. So today is going to be all about how to tailor your online presence for search engines and how to manage your reputation for potential customers. Everything that we have talked about up to this point has really been part of a cyclical process. Basically, it requires a lot of constant refining, improvement, and adaptations in order to stay successful. So as you can see, we have a little cycle here that kind of demonstrates this process a bit more visually for you, but it goes back to the fact that it never ends, it never stops, and our whole purpose working together is that we make sure that the wheel doesn't stop turning.
Exactly. Let me step in here. This is a good slide for us because we understand that in online marketing, actually all marketing is this way, and actually business is this way, but it's a muddy mountain, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Muddy mountain meaning you slide backwards sometimes. Well, in authority, online authority, the things that we're doing, the cyclical cycles she's mentioning, we're always taking steps forward, and our goal is to take more steps forward than backwards. Okay. Okay.
We'll pause just a moment, see if we can get the sound back for you.
Go to audio and see if it sees our... Hello.
Do we still have sound? Is everyone able to hear us?
Yeah. Go to...
Yes.
Okay. We're good now.
Sorry about that.
Might be our internet. So what I was saying is the muddy mountain. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I mean, it would be great if we could just build it and set it and forget it, and then we're done. But what happens is 2 things. One, this authority that we build eventually goes away. It's kind of like one of those credit cards or debit cards you buy at the mall, and you put $100 on it, but if you don't use it after 6 months, you lose $5 a month or something. But it's kind of the same way. So if you don't make deposits or if you don't make new authority, eventually it goes away. So that's why it's a continuous thing. So in our eyes, it's not like we're trying to take over the world. We're even trying to be the best in the United States. We just want to win in your local market. So my analogy is, you know, we're walking in the woods, me and you, and I look over and there's a bear, and you're like, holy cow, there's a bear. And so I bend over and I start tying my shoes. And of course you go, what are you doing? You can't outrun a bear. And I'm like, I don't have to outrun the bear. I only have to outrun you. And that very much holds true with what we're doing. So all we're trying to do is outrun the nearest people. So online marketing and social media, and as well as search engine marketing, really that's very relevant to what we're going to talk about today. So we'll talk a little bit more about this money mountain, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, here in a minute.
And a little tidbit for you guys. I know you can't see our faces, but I was so giddy to have him give you that analogy. It's something he preaches to us on a regular daily basis, and that's really part of what we do as trying to help you. So it's great that he mentioned that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So when it does come to the web, search engines can either be your best friend or your biggest obstacle. People who are searching for businesses like yours can be led to your website or social media by search engine results, or completely driven away by your competition. So search engine marketing at its core is just the process of getting traffic from those free, organic, or natural search engine results. And that's the whole point of it. We want to make sure that when people are searching for the kind of things that you provide, your services, what you can do to answer their questions and solve their problems, we want to make sure that you are at the very top of those results so that they see who you are and you get that extra exposure. All aspects of your online brand are categorized by what search engines consider most relevant to users. Search engines prefer sites that are considered trusted, so building a loyal following to increase your credibility really does matter. And that credibility is your domain authority. And what domain authority is that it determines how well a domain can rank in Google's search engine results. So you're probably wondering, what exactly makes up domain authority? There are a whole lot of things that make it up, and all of these variables are constantly changing and evolving. But we've compiled about 5 things that you can really help us with just to make sure that we're doing as much as we possibly can to really make sure that it's built up and that it's relevant to search engines like Google. So we have, just right now, keyword research and analysis, focusing on non-branded traffic, monitoring and understanding your Google Analytics data, informing people and the web with website content, and building external links back to your website. These make up your domain authority. Basically, that just means that instead of searching for your customers, they find you. It's a pull instead of a push technique. And it puts you in front of people who, like I said, are searching for solutions to the problems you can help them with, either needing new employees for their business or needing a new job. So the first thing is keyword research and analysis. It's the subtle art of predicting exactly what people will search for. You have to make a strategy that makes sure that you're using the right keywords that people are using, and that they could either be directly related to your business or to a point where your customer's problem and your solution intersect. So you want to think from the perspective of your customers. What would you search for if you're looking for jobs or an employee? So we have a little example here with an Adwords keyword planner, and it kind of gives you an idea of what you can search for and what is considered relevant by Google.
Yeah, I don't want to get too thick in the weeds here, but obviously we take a heavy look at localized keywords for your area. Google doesn't give us, a lot of local stuff, but they can tell us on a national thing. So if you can see on the screen here, you can see that staffing agencies, there were 74,000 searches on average per month throughout the United States. That's the whole United States, which is a pretty good keyword. But so we're like, okay, that's probably a keyword we want to go after. If it's big nationwide, it's probably big on a local level for Portland or Seattle or whatever. But down here, if you look, this one's even bigger, and this one we go after more. Temp agencies. A lot of people will search for that. So the vernacular that you guys use internally may not be the same vernacular that people use to search for what you're looking for. So we have to kind of get on the same page. We do all this research, but of course you guys know quite a bit better than we do sometimes. And in general, it's going to be pretty much the same. The part we have trouble with, is we're from the South, and we talk different. We had a little bit of slang terms down here, and sometimes in different cities they'll search by counties, they'll search by towns, and so we need to know those kind of things, and that's one way you can help us on that. But back to keywords. So I want to show you later on, we're going to get into a true keyword search. But in the olden days, the phone book, you would have maybe 1 or 2 locations in the phone book. For instance, you would be listed under staffing agencies. I don't even know what it was listed under actually, but it'd be jobs or job employment agency. Anyway, it'd be under S for staffing agencies, or E for employment agencies, or T for temp agencies. Well, you really would only have 1 or 2 listings in the yellow pages. and it was really sometimes kind of hard to find where you need to go. Well, online, not only would we have those, but we're going to have hundreds of other ones because we want to cover it all. Everything and anything that people would search for, we want to be there. So that's the difference. It's still a directory. It's just online. But the cool thing about the directory is it has limitless keywords that people will search for, and we want to go after all of them. So in the report last week we went over, there was hundreds of keywords that we go after, and this is kind of where we get our analytics from. So we'll talk a little bit more about keywords here in a bit.
All right, so to go back to the presentation, it's a very important aspect of what we do, and all of those little things that you know about your particular location and your niche market, that is really what will help us, and those are things that only you can provide. So the next thing is that you can focus on non-branded traffic. This means not targeting with advertisements or marketing to a warm or hot lead client base that you already have. These are people who may not know you exist, and they won't know your name, so they won't know how to search for you. Instead, they're going to search for what you do and what you offer because that's what they're looking for. So you want to make sure that when you're referring to your business and you're trying to get more people, you want to talk about what you do, not who you are. As I mentioned, this would be for cold leads, and you can make sure to use references that really relate back and are relevant to your company. So for example, staffing companies, employment centers, staffing agencies, jobs, hiring. These are all really good keywords that you can use along with a local modifier of your area to target brand new markets. And obviously you won't be able to compete with corporate competition, but you will be able to compete locally. As Eddie said, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than your competition. So the next thing that you can do is monitor Google Analytics. And to really begin monitoring it effectively, you need to understand how it works and why it's important. So a couple of the aspects that you would use Google Analytics for include finding out how your domain compares with your competition. How many other places are referring to your website? How is your website laid out? Do search engines like the website structure? And do the links on your website go where they're supposed to go? These are all things that Google Analytics can show you kind of through all of the data that they provide. So we're going to pull up a sample Google Analytics segment. And I'm going to hand it off to Eddie in just a moment to go over it in more detail, but I just want to cover a couple of things that they show right on the dashboard, and this is really important. So this is Express Pensacola's Google Analytics, and as you can see, just in the last 30 days, they've had a really good activity here. It's very strong. And a session is considered when one person goes onto your website, how long they're on your website at any particular time. That could include how many pages that they're on, but as long as they're tied to your website without leaving, either by closing the browser or going somewhere else in a period of time. And you can already tell from this information that people were coming back to the website. 1,400 people, 2,000 sessions, that means some of those people were coming back a second time, and that really means that you have a good return and that you have engaging content. And in an average of three pages per session, Express Pensacola is doing very well at making sure their content is interesting enough to keep people coming back. They even have a very low bounce rate, 43%. The average we find is about 50 to 60%. So this is very, very good. It means people aren't really leaving after visiting the first page. They're staying on for a little while at about 3 minutes on average, definitely more if you look into the day-by-day data. And 62% of these users here are brand new. That means he's getting new leads, new people coming to his website just based on what we've already talked about. So I'm going to pass it over to Eddie to go a little bit more into some of the other terms, but
excellent. Now,
the dashboard shows you everything.
Yeah, in the last training we did go over, we give you most of this information on your report every single month, and I know some people, roll their eyes and it's hard to look at it. We just want you to pay attention to it a little bit because, like, the questions you should be asking, okay, so if we're getting them to average 2 minutes and 47 seconds on our page, how do we get them to 2 minutes and 57 seconds? In other words, how do we get them to stick a little bit longer? So when we are asking you for, so more photographs, more videos, more testimonials, and we're putting that stuff on your website, that's a way to get more people intrigued, more people reading through or going through and looking on your website. And we're going to talk here a little bit about on-page optimization, and we'll talk about what the stuff that we actually put on your website. And most of it is to keep these people longer and not bouncing. So we have motives for that. So let me tie this all together for you. So the analytics, the reason why we're watching that is twofold. One, obviously for human beings, we want to see what they're doing and kind of the actions that they're taking and making sure it's the actions we want them to take. But number two, it's for Google bots. We want to, rankings and everything have a lot to do with these analytics. So Google gives it to us for a reason. So if there's a very high bounce rate, it is one part of the algorithm of why you rank on Google in the organic as well as Google Maps. So we want to lower that bounce rate, get people to stay. That means they like your site. And so Google says, hey, people seem to like the site. We'll serve them up more often. And again, we're going to get into search engine here a little bit. But so it's kind of for both. Now, what's really kind of cool is you can see in here, you can see the browsers they're using. And of course, I love the mobile. You need to check out the mobile, how many people are searching mobile, and just understand that when a majority of your searches are from mobile nowadays, then you realize what's going on. So you need to have that kind of in the back of your mind too, that hey, these people are searching from mobile, so we need to get them to click through and go to the pages we want them to go to, whether it's apply for a job, make a phone call, or call for more information. So in your site, corporate site has done a very good job of setting this up to where it does flow very well. So we're really happy with the sites. Actually, believe it or not, no, don't get me wrong, we have a couple of issues with Vectron on the back end, but the front end, everything, it's very good. And of course, the coding is very tight, and it does a very good job of flowing. We just need to help it by localizing it, and we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm sorry, but anyway, back to this. I think you should look at it at least once a month. Again, you don't have to get real in depth with it, but you need to be thinking, how can we keep these people here a little longer? And we'll give you some more ideas here in a second.
And exactly, just like Eddie said, once a month is ideal. You can either look in the reports that we send out to you, or you also have access to your Google Analytics data. And whether or not you're actually very analytical and involved with the numbers, it's great just to be familiar and know what they mean and to understand why it's important.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get on back here. The next thing, still tied to your website, is content. So I know we've had questions in the past about why we have so much content on the Express websites, and this explains why. So whether or not people read what's on your pages, and I'm sure people do, but ideally we write content for Google bots, and they scan every single word of anything relevant linked to your business. We call that crawling the page, and when we create content, we make sure that anything that's relevant at all, keywords, anything that you do, services, about you, names, anything, we make sure that's in the website and that it's built explicitly for when those Google bots crawl on your page, they can make sure to tie all of the keywords.
The sound is out.
The sound is out again?
It's back on.
That's really weird.
Sorry, we're having so many sound outages. We may have a bad connection here. I apologize. We'll carry on as best as we can, and please let us know if you have any other issues. Anyway, to go on, providing as much information as possible in your intake form is really what helps us to craft as much content. You can send us your staff biographies. You can send us information and history about your office, anything that you volunteer with and what you do. These are all very helpful to us in creating basically the ideal welcome mat for search engines. They can look at all of this content and know that you are an informative, credible source that is relevant to what people search for.
Let me speak to that real quick. So this is back to the content that we were just talking about. So Google has a thing called text to code ratio, and that's something, it literally is part of the algorithm of why you rank in the rankings, is how much text to compare to how much coding is on your website. So you have a very robust website, has lots of code, and so we would need to add more text. That's why one of the first things we do when we update your websites is add more text to it. Now, it's not a detriment to human beings either, too. It should be very readable, and some people actually do read it a lot, so it's not a bad thing to have that much text. So we've had a couple offices say, well, there's too much text on my page, and nobody reads that. Well, yes and no. Some people will not. Some people do. So there's, obviously 3 or 4 types of different people. You guys know if you take the personality test, the high D's probably don't read everything, but the analytical people, the high C's and high S's, they'll read every word on your page. So we're trying to make sure that we're getting that. Part 2 is optimization of the website itself, so that each page. So that a lot of it's back end, you probably wouldn't even notice on the front end, but we would geotag each of the photos that are on there. We would optimize the videos that are going to be on there. These are all things that we can tell the Google bots, hey, these guys are about this, so we localize it. And these guys are about this, and that way it helps your ranking. So the way you could help us is, again, is to get quality, unique, original photos. We mentioned that in the last one. So original means it has not been posted anywhere online, anywhere else. So when we post it on your website, you get credit for it from Google as the first in. First one in gets credit for the originality, and it's big credit. It's part of the, again, part of the boost. Same thing with videos and same thing with text. So that's why we're always trying to rewrite it. So the first thing we do is rewrite the text so it's 100% original. We put it through this little software and it tells us, yeah, this page is original now. It's going to be similar to what was on there, and we'll just add our, the own thing. But we always look for your help. I mean, if you want to say something about your local market, we really need your help on that, because there's just certain things you probably want to say or we don't even know about. But if you ever win an award, like the Chamber Business of the Month, or if you ever, did any philanthropic endeavors, we really want to write about that. We want to put it on your page, but we also want to do other things with it, which we'll talk about. So we starve for content. Content is king. It always will be. Now content is good for human beings, and as I mentioned, Google bots wants it too. So original, unique, quality content, text, photos, videos, and then of course the coding. So
absolutely. And I just want to show you an example really quickly of the kind of difference it makes having the standard Express website and having one that has been optimized. So this is Gainesville, Florida, I believe. Yep. And as you can see, this is the standard homepage. I mean, it's cookie cutter right out of the box. And you have, a standard corporate video, a title that's not really localized, and then a basic paragraph that is literally copied and pasted across any other office that has not modified their website, along with a top jobs, which is, as you know, managed from within their office, and then a simple static Google Maps listing. And this may or may not be as effective as what's already listed on Google Maps, but we do know that it doesn't really change often. So here we have the Express Pensacola website. Let me scroll back up to the top here. And as you can see, it's much more heavily customized. We have right here in the very first, in the title, Pensacola Human Resource Center, so we make sure to target that particular area. We have an interactive Google Maps location that can be tied back to their Google Plus page. And we just have a lot of content here that ties back to, really specific keywords that are really important, employment, staffing agency, hiring, jobs, work, everything that really matters, that defines what this business does and what's relevant to it. And as you can see, we also have a lot of localized videos that are tagged with those keywords as well, staffing agency, hiring, employment, and this is also in the metadata. And if we come down here, there's a lot of extra top jobs. We also have sections for just for employees or for employers and just for job seekers. So as you can see, there's just a whole lot more content, but it ties back to all of the things that we were talking about previously and what we're trying to go for with those goals. So as you can see right here, we do have a keyword linking back to the website and a couple of other places. This is spaced all throughout the website, and when Google bots or any other search engine crawlers come through and scan your page, they see all the keywords. They know that this is relevant, informative content, and using that keyword to or that text to code ratio, it really does help making sure that there's a lot of content on there. So the more that you can give us information-wise, how specific you want to get with everything, we love that. We starve for it. It's absolutely incredibly useful to your efforts and to ours. Mm-hmm. I do have a little handout that I wanted to share with you guys as well. Let me see if I can get up here and find it. It is just an SEO graphic in the handout section, and it's the periodic table of SEO. It's really good, but it goes over a lot of these things that we've been talking about in more detail and how it helps.
Yeah, this can get overwhelming.
There's a lot to it.
So as researchers and search engine optimization, Google gives us clues to most of the algorithm. They say there's over 300 reasons why you rank on the maps, and probably more why you rank organically. So they say, here's what we want you to do, and they give us these things. But then they also tell us what we should not do. And they tell us, do not do these things. So that's kind of what this chart is. You really don't need to get too much in the weeds. We worry about this. You don't need to, but this is why we're always asking for your help. As you can see the top left-hand corner here, if you can see my mouse, the number one thing is content, quality, unique, quality content. That's what we always talk about. So you guys already know. So everything we're asking for is to try to meet these demands for Google to help you. And you'll see that it does directly correlate to your rankings. So real quick, I know we're going to get to it later, but this is a good time to bring it up. We'll come back to it. So here's a Google ranking. Go to the Google search. Which one is that one?
It's right down here. And
so you guys don't need to get too much into the weeds on that, but so here's a Google search. We just typed in temp agency Pensacola, and you'll see express employment professionals, and we're going to come back to the slide because of the reputation. But the reason why we got them ranked for temp agency Pensacola and all the other keywords you want to Google was because we put that on the homepage that we just showed you, and we did all these other things we're going to talk about. We did, some articles. We did a press release, which we'll talk about. And so we're going to come back to this architecture, this on-page and off-page SEO of why and how we got him ranked, and how we're going to get you ranked, and how you can help us do that. So we'll come back to this if you guys don't mind.
Most definitely. So we'll go down to last but not least. In the previous slide, we talked about how you can help your website to be as strong as possible for search engines. This kind of goes outside of your website, and this is external linking. So other websites linking back to your website is just as important, if not maybe a little bit more than what you do on your website, simply because they give you credibility. That's your domain authority. It goes all back to domain authority. So if you serve on your local chamber, if you volunteer at a local non-for-profit, sponsor an event, anything, ask them to feature your website link. You can offer to feature their links too when you mention that you promote these things, you sponsor these events or volunteered in the community involvements page. Ultimately, it is a win-win. You both establish each other as being credible, and that is a backlink that you can keep, for building your online authority.
Exactly. Consider that's exactly right. So this is another homework assignment you can help us with. So one of the things, if you're involved in any philanthropic endeavors, if you're involved with Rotary Club, if you're involved with the Chamber, so anytime you do things like that, you should try to get a backlink. So in our case, we always say, yeah, go ahead and sponsor the golf tournament, and but say, hey, I don't care about a T sign. What I want is a link from your website to mine. Because that link, as she mentioned, is a vote from them to you. So, I know Charlie does a lot of things on a localized level, and he's always involved with things. He's a past president of his Rotary Club, so he's getting a link from his Rotary Club, the Rotary Club website, back to his business page, which helps build authority for him on a local level. You can do the same thing. I'm sure every one of you are involved with something, whether it's your church, whether it's just things that you do on a local level, or even if it's sponsorship of a golf tournament or something. So just be cognizant of ways that you can get a link back to your website. And we can tell you the technical side of it. It's not that hard. Most of the time, if you just ask them, they know how to do it. But it's just literally linking from their website to yours, and that builds authority. So external links, and she mentioned it is more powerful. Google has admitted at least 60% of the reason why you rank on Google has nothing to do with your website itself. I know that sounds crazy, but 60%, over 60, they think between 60 and 65% of the reason why you rank on Google Maps and Google Organic has nothing to do with your website. That it's everything to do with these external links pointing back to you, this authority being pointing to you. They trust it more. So back in the olden days when they first created Google and they made the algorithm, that was pretty much the entire algorithm. It was these votes, outside votes, back to your page. But then they realized that people could, hornswoggle that. They can manipulate that, and so then they said, well, we still need on-page optimization. We also need these other authority links. All links are not created equal. I don't want to get too crazy into this. Of course, you do not want to link from a bad place. So if it's a bad site, it can actually hurt you. I can give you several examples of that, but so you got to be careful. The bigger authoritative sites, of course, if you can get a link from CNN.com or FoxNews.com, that's a very powerful link versus something else. For us, again, we're trying to localize it as much as we can. I would love, of course, if you're in the chamber of your local business, make sure that it's linking back to your website. If you're a member of the Better Business Bureau on your local level, which I highly recommend, they give you a link back to your website. If you're a member of any of the local clubs and organizations, go ahead and get that link. And sometimes it's worth to buy it. We have a local place here called PensacolaBusinesses.com and something else, and it's like $30 a year. I wouldn't pay more than $30 a year, but it would be worth $30 a year to get that link back to your website because it has that much value. It will actually boost you in the search engine. So this is one way that we build authority. So we're going to get into this more often, but you can get a backlink from all those things that we just mentioned, but we can also get a backlink from a video. You can get a backlink from photographs. You can get a backlink from articles and blog posts, and you can get a backlink from press releases, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yep, absolutely. And it's as Eddie said, we can't stress it enough. It's incredibly important. And if you can do that, I mean, like I said, it's a win-win. So just to touch on this a little bit before we move on, one other thing that you can do is also search for your business and review the website URLs that are on your online business listings. We do that in the form of citations. We try to claim as many as we can and make sure that they are as accurate as possible, but some of them we may not be able to do without your help. If you look and find that some of those citations list expresspros.com, they're not listing your site. So let us know and we can help you and establish a way to claim that and so that we can change it and make sure it is directing to you and being an effective backlink.
Let me take a second. We talked about citations before it's concerned. I just want to explain it again in case you weren't on there. A citation is simply one of these external websites pointing back to your site or citing your name, address, and phone number in general, and it could be your website as well. So CITING, your website. So we build these for you naturally as well, and I know that you'll get them on your own. But so one of the things that's going to happen, and we tell you this when you first come on with us, but sometimes you forget. So when we build these, they'll try to call you and sell you on like an upgrade. They're like, hey, looks like you signed up for yellowpages.com or whatever it is, and they'll call you and say, hey, for only $30 a month we can get the premium listing. So I want you, or at least train your staff or whoever answers the phone, don't say that you don't want that, because you do. Say, I just want the free listing, thank you. And they'll say, well, you sure you don't want the premium listing? Say, no, thank you, I just want the free listing. So if you don't say that, they'll say, well, we'll cancel this then. And then it kind of goes against what we just built it for you, and it doesn't stick because you guys said, no, we don't want that. So the answer is always going to be, yes, we want it, we just want the free listing. And then they'll leave you alone. But they'll usually, a lot of them are smart enough, like Super Pages and Merchant Circle and Manta, and I think Yellow Pages and a couple of those will actually try to call you. So if you can train your staff to just say those words, no thank you, we just want the free listing, and then you can hang up. If they get any more in depth and they really push hard, then tell them, hey, I have an agency that handles this, call them, and then just give them our phone number. We would be glad to talk to them about it. So
definitely, and that's what we're here for.
Yep.
All right, so I know we've touched on this in the past, but this is so relevant across many different categories that we do. It's worth going over again. So press releases show search engines that your business is newsworthy enough to be recognized. It is a powerful resource, not only because you have some relevant information to share with the world, but we can use that as a way to tie people back to your business, as a kind of a hook, line, and sinker back to your website and your central hub online. So when you send us monthly information, you invest in the strength of a message that gets sent to media outlets all over the country. And believe me, there are more than 100 reasons to write a press release. It can be about just anything. And all you have to do is send us one idea and one quote. Heck, you could even knock it out over the entire year. Send us 12 ideas and 12 quotes, and we'll make sure to get 12 press releases out to you that are just as impactful as those external links we were saying were so important. So for some of the news and updates, once again, we've touched on this a little bit briefly, but this is really great for search engine marketing and for building your reputation. You want to have that personal brand that only you can provide in your area. Think of your business as a person, and what kind of traits do you want this person to have? You want to feature the best sides of this person, right? So you want to talk about local news and announcements, things that you've done that are really helpful or really great to talk about, upcoming events that could help people, awards that you may have won to show just how amazing you are as a business, testimonials of people who have had a great experience with you anything else. Google absolutely adores it when we continually update your local website. And this can be used everywhere else, just like Eddie was saying, on your website, on your social media, on press releases and blog articles, just about anywhere. And even if you don't really have anything going on right now, you can still help us by finding really great content just by using something like Google Alerts. And what Google Alerts does is it gets you notifications whenever a new article is posted on a topic that you've made sure to flag for Google. And it's not exactly a localized search. It does more nationwide, but it's great at pulling relevant information. So, for example, we have right here on google.com/alerts, that's where you would go. You just type in things that you want to be monitoring, and then you would create an alert. You can tie it to your email, your mobile device, and it'll send you a notification whenever something new it considers relevant is posted online. So as you can see down here, we have just a sample of what some of these articles may consist of. As you can see, there are keywords here that we don't have listed up here. We have employment, staffing, and jobs. This is pulling work, positions, and a couple of other keywords here that it just automatically knows. So it does half the work for you, and it tries to scan the news for anything relevant. And who knows, someday your office might have a press release up here that's really is relevant to your area. But this is a great way that if you wanted something to feature on your website, you could pull an interesting article and ask us to feature it for you. So when it comes back, what it really comes back down to is we want your pictures and we want your videos. And you could take pictures of just about anything, except please save the photos of walls and floors and your back pocket. We want photos of your office, photos of your team, your associates and staff at work. We want photos from events that you've participated in, and any picture related to your business at all. This really, once again, helps create that personality about your business that people will flock to. And like Eddie was saying earlier, we can make sure to geotag those, tie it back to your business, and increase that big web that we've built around your website, directing people back and making sure that people who've never heard of you can finally find you. You can also do videos just with your cell phone of, job seeker tips, virtual office tours, meet a staff member, associate of the month. Any of these things are really great examples on how to help your clients get to know you a little bit better. And when you build that trust and that relationship, it is a much easier transition to go from prospect to actual client. And as I said, these don't need to be professionally done. You don't need to hire a company or have somebody in-house, take really beautiful photos or videos. You just need a cell phone and a couple minutes of your time. It really does make all the difference. So we want to go through a little bit on the importance of online reputation management. And we want to make sure that when we're doing reputation management, that it really reflects you to the highest integrity and degree that you can possibly be for your business. Reputation management at its core is really defined by activities that are simply designed to create or maintain a certain perspective of your brand to the public. So for layman's terms, why don't we say, how do you want people to see you? How do you want them to remember your company? So really, this process is making sure what other people perceive about you aligns with your goals. That's the end game right there, is to make sure that what they see and what you want them to see match. And this is by far your most important asset. If you don't have a good reputation, nothing else will matter. Your online reputation can really influence or be influenced as the deciding factor when deciding to use you or your competitors' services. So I just can't stress enough, how important it is, but you want to make sure that what you can control makes a big difference. And you really cannot control everything. There are so many extra variables that we want to take as much control as possible and just try and make it work. So what we do is we monitor your results once per month, and we encourage you to do the same. We help you draft with negative reviews, ideal responses to make, but you're more than welcome to respond in your own way as well. Either way, we definitely encourage responses. And we are not We don't want to take responsibility for you regarding negative reviews. We want to help you craft responses, but ultimately this is on you. These are clients that are either unhappy with their services or they just simply didn't get what they expected. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that you know whenever a negative review comes up, this is the perfect opportunity to address it, to resolve it, ask them to take their negative review down, or heck, even get a new review posted up that's positive. So we try to notify you for new reviews and what we can do to help you respond, but you should still check too.
Well, let me step in here. We don't try it. It's a sure thing, and it's not once a month. It's every day. So
yeah.
we want you to do it once a month, but we're actually monitoring it daily, and we'll make you well aware of any good or bad reviews. So it's all part of it. We're going to talk about this here in a second. Well, actually, we'll show them an example here in a second.
Yeah, and your reviews are reflected in the reputation portion of your report every month. Mm-hmm. And I apologize if I did not make that clear. So we do have, I want to go back to this search result right here where we have Express Pensacola, just temp agency. And as you can see, they're not the only one that has a rating here. Landrum Staffing also has a rating. But if you were a customer looking to use either of these businesses, which one would you go with?
Exactly. Landrum in the South, they're not very big elsewhere except for down here in the South, but they're a good competitor. They're a gigantic competitor, and they have actually a pretty good reputation offline. And Charlie, the owner of Express here in Pensacola, is actually good friends with him and knows him pretty well. But if you were to see this online, you're like, wow, I would never, with a 2.9 rating, these guys must be horrible. Well, here's my 2 cents on that. If you're from around here, you might not care too much because you know Landrum, they do a lot of great things for the community. However, we know that 20% turnover in our market, every year 20% of people move away and about 20% new people move in. So they don't know their past reputation. They don't know so they're Googling these words, temp agency Pensacola. So they're moving into town, hey, I need to get a job, I need to find a temp agency, and they Google these words. And so that's why, one, of course you want to be at the top, but even if you're not, let's change this around. Of course, Charlie's number 1, Express Employment in Pensacola is number 1, but even if he was number 2, which he was not too long ago, he was number 2, people would skip over the 2.9 star rating and go go to the 4.6 star rating because it's much more, it's very powerful. Same thing with shoes you buy on Amazon or Zappos or anything you would look around. You're not going to buy anything with the 2.9 star rating. And they may have every excuse in the world why they have that, but the point is people don't even look. Now 4.6, they are going to click on it and they're going to look and they're going to go, what was the bad review? And then of course you want to respond to it, and that's what Cassandra was talking about. So we are going to brainstorm together. We have pad responses and we have some good best practices response. Of course we always take the high road. We want to explain what's going on, but we've also have what's really cool, and I think Jenny's on here or somebody from corporate's on here too, but we have the access to corporate legal to help us in case you guys do. You guys should use it too. And something comes up, especially if it gets in the weird realm of, some of the legalities you guys know about. So again, we're not trying to respond for you on your behalf on any negative review, but we definitely want to help you, and we're here as a brainstorming and session, and we can talk with corporate too to help you with that. But and it happens. 5-star is real rare, especially in your industry, but our number is 4.2. We find that there's a big drop off when you get below, of course, when you get below 4, but we want you to 4.2 or higher, and we're going to strive as best we can to go higher. So we're going to talk to you about how to do that again. We've already given you some ideas in the last training, but we'll give you some more.
Definitely. So as I was saying, it's important that we respond no matter what. The timeliness of that response really is important. Mm-hmm. So as we've mentioned previously, and we're going to mention it again because it is so important, you can leave reviews. Have your friends, family, your associates, job seekers, and employers ask them to review you. You can do this through ZipWhip. You can do this simply by emailing them, calling them, or catch them in the right moment when you've just done something wonderful for them. And there's any reason to leave a review as long as it is honest. You want to make sure that they review your integrity either as a business or as a person. And we would always encourage that reviews are submitted outside of your office. They can be submitted in your office, but it's not 100% sure that they may be considered valid, so they may not stick.
Yeah, it's from the IP address. That's why she put may not be. So you want to use a unique IP address. Either do it from your phone or do it from your home computer. So if you have friends or family that have done business with you, or they know your integrity, they can leave a review in the terms of service, and it doesn't necessarily have to have done business with you. So they can get on and say, I've known Julie for 10 years. She's incredible, done amazing work, and has amazing integrity, and have the highest esteem, value, and trustworthiness of her. So I highly recommend using Express. So they can say something to that effect. It's not a lie, and they can talk to specifics about a specific person in the organization. So we recommend that. Last time I brought it up, we're going to begin. The easiest low-hanging fruit is from an Android phone. Because Android is owned by Google, right? So you're already logged in. So what you do is you would Google the words Express Employment Professionals, Seattle, Washington, and then your listing will show up, or whatever, Portland, or it doesn't matter. But your listing will show up, and you hit the little blue down arrow, and then once you hit the blue down arrow, it'll say leave a review, and you click on that, and you hit 5 stars, and then leave a sentence or two. I would get as many details as you can. Get a couple sentences worth. Don't just say these guys are great. A couple sentences, and that should stick. So if you're out, I told you last time, if you're at lunch or you're playing golf or you're with your friends, just say, take out your phone and then have them leave a review. As long as you're cognizant of this and you're out there, again, we're not looking for 20, 30, 40, 50 of these. We're looking for 2, 3, 5 of these a month, which should be doable. It should be a good goal, and it should be something on your aspiration list every month, and you should have your employees help you. Hey, we're trying to get 5 new reviews, 5-star reviews every month.
And just give us one quick second. There we go. So absolutely, you have a great description of that, and Google does use these reviews not only for building your reputation and making sure that they're credible, but making sure that your business is still active. So once again, this ties back to not just your reputation, but back to search engine marketing and making sure that you rank up there with your competition and hopefully outstrip them. So just to really drive that point home, it is your reputation portal is your central hub for monitoring, acquiring, and responding to reviews. Whoever sends a review to your reputation portal acts as a catch-all, so negative reviews won't ever get submitted anywhere online. This saves your reputation by making sure that that star rating that is so highly valued doesn't get negatively impacted. However, positive reviews are encouraged to be shared all over the web. Easy examples are provided to direct people to go to those accounts, sign in, and automatically respond. So we have a reputation portal here just for Express Pensacola. And Eddie, if you want to walk them through a positive and negative review,
yeah, sure.
What it displays.
So each of you have this portal, and Cassandra mentioned it, and we mentioned it in the second training as well. But you have a link to this portal, and this is a good thing to put on your signature for your emails, or this is a good thing maybe to put on the back of your business card, a link to this. But so you want to bring them here. If they're your friends or family, just take them straight to Google. Don't just skip this. You don't need to go here. But if it's people sitting in your office, you can have a link to this, and they can leave a review here. So it's automatically, it shows only 5 stars. It's trying to persuade them to leave a 5-star. It's already clicked on 5 stars, and then they just put their name and email and then leave the review. It's that simple. But at the bottom is what we really care about. One is it says, I'm authorizing you to post my testimonial anywhere online. So because we want to be able to have the freedom to use this in your Facebook and your LinkedIn and some of the other on your websites, and also it gives the other terms of service down there too. So if they leave a 5-star review, the next step, it'll actually pop up a video and say, hey, awesome, will you please leave this review as well on Google or on it could be Yellow Pages or some of the other Google places. So Jane Dale, we'll show you an example here. This is a test, and so you can have people leave reviews here. It'll pop up and then say, hey, this video, she'll say it's pretty good, and it'll say, will you please paste this review, copy and paste this review to one of these places, Google, Yelp, or Facebook.
Thanks so much for your positive feedback. We work really hard to give you the best possible experience, and it would mean a lot to our staff if you shared your experience with others as well. So to help us, just choose one of the sites on this page. Then we will take you to our listing where you can simply copy and paste your review for others to see. Thanks in advance again for leaving your feedback. We cannot wait to share your online review with our team.
Awesome. So, and then a negative we can show you. I know we're running out of time here, but the negative one basically says the opposite of that. It says, we're truly sorry we missed the mark. Will you please call us office immediately and see if we can handle or rectify the situation, or something to that effect. I guess we can show you real quick. But so what's cool is most people just want to be heard, right? They want to say, hey, I had a problem. I just want to be heard, and we're collecting it. We're still getting them heard, but this isn't going out all over the web. This is something that we own, we control. So they get heard, we're able to handle the situation, you're able to call them and see if you can fix the situation, and then it doesn't go out everywhere. That's the best scenarios. So, you want to try it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Cassandra's we'll show you quickly what the video is if they leave a bad review.
Yep, and this just shows you, what exactly they see if they leave a review, but we do our best to incentivize positive reviews and discourage negative ones. Unfortunately, I'm not able to leave a review right now.
Oh, because you already did it, so it doesn't like the same name. So, okay.
So we'll try John Smith. We'll try that instead.
Yeah.
So if it goes through, there is another video that, like Eddie says, kind of talks about, what we can do better, and we apologize, and gives them an opportunity to leave more feedback.
We are extremely sorry to hear about your experience. Although it seems our staff didn't meet your expectations, we'd like the chance to turn things around and make it up to you. You can help us do that by filling out the questions on this page. Then we can share your issue with our staff so that 1, our management team can address it, and 2, we can correct the mistake immediately. Great customer service is the heart of our business. So in the questions, please make sure you give us as much detail as possible, and we will make sure it's addressed by our team.
So see, again here, they want to be heard, and this is a good chance for them to leave their opinions and thoughts, and then once this sends, it goes right to the managers, and you can contact them. So we're just trying to control the negative and the positive. We send the positive through and control the negative. So again, we don't want to dwell on it too much, but I just highly recommend you use this, and it will definitely benefit your business.
All right, so before we do a Q&A session, we would love to get your feedback as well. We do have just 2 poll questions that we'd like to send you, and if you could just fill it out really quickly, it's a very quick question. We would really, really appreciate it. So first, we just want to know, how would you rate your understanding of these sessions? And we'll keep an eye out and see how many people respond, and then we'll go to the next one.
Yep. So this is the understanding part of it. What does it say? How would you rate your understanding of these search engine marketing best practices? We just reviewed that. Yeah, I know it's sometimes it's overwhelming and confusing. It's sometimes you'd rather headbutt a porcupine or take a fastball to the shin, but this is what we do every day, so that's why we're trying to break it down to bite-sized chunks of how you can help us. Yeah. A lot of the stuff you don't really need to know, but we're just telling you why we do it, but that's why we're asking for the things we're asking for. So.
All right, so we'll switch over to the second one now, if everyone's finished filling out.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. And the next one is, how recently have you looked at your office's reviews on Google and other sites? Let's get that set up.
Watch. Okay. Okay, as you're finishing up, please answer the polls, but we're trying to unmute everybody. If you have questions, we'd love to hear it.
Okay, we're ready for the first question.
Yep, so if anyone has anything that they'd like to ask us, any more information, please let us know. You guys should be on speaker now.
Yeah, or you can type it in. Awesome. We were so thorough.
All right. Oh, have a picture of our front desk. However, I'm not a photographer.
Which I get that. Can you expand that again?
Hello? Hello?
Just pull it down so you can read it.
I don't think it'll let me.
Okay,
Oh, can you clean up the picture?
oh, sure.
Absolutely. If you send us pictures, if they're not ideal, we are more than happy to clean them up for you, make them look as nice as we possibly can. And we even create graphics for you guys if you ever need anything. So if we don't even have a photo, we can make something for you.
Yeah, if it's blurry, we can't do much with it. But for the most part, we can do. And if you have an idea, we're always open to ideas. So hey, put this in the background and say these words. Those are always good too. So we, as you know, social media is because it's kind of instantaneous. We do a lot of custom graphics for you guys, especially for your market. So we're always trying to do, the mountains in the background or the stream or the bridges. But if you have good pictures of those kind of things in your market, that would definitely signify your market that you're in. We want those things. So we try not to post pictures of Pensacola Beach for you guys because. So yeah, anything you give us would help. Any other questions?
You can also speak into the microphone as well. You guys are on speaker. If you have any questions at all, and
Yeah, you have to. I think on your side you may need to unmute or talk. Most people may not have a microphone on their computer, but cool. All right. Well, we're getting to the top of the hour, or the bottom of the hour, so we're about a full hour's worth here.
I'd like to thank you all so much for your time today. We sincerely appreciate you joining us, and we hope that you found this informative. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions or you would like any more information.
absolutely. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it. And let us know if there's anything else that you'd like to know about in the future.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.